Hello, I'm Rihanna. I'm one of the educators at Unite Health in Melbourne. Today I wanted to share with you some common sequencing mistakes that I've come across in my years of teaching and also my years of mentoring newer instructors in the industry. So there are some little tweaks that we could easily make to our class planning and sequencing to just feel like we're getting the most out of our time with our clients and that our clients feel like they're getting the most out of their time with us as well. So the first thing that comes to mind is making the most of each setup position. So rather than, for example, if I'm sitting sideways on the reformer, just doing one exercise, laying down, doing another exercise, coming back up, another exercise, I always recommend about 3 to 4 movements in each setup position before you move them on to the next shape. That's going to save you a lot of time with transitions. It also means that clients can properly feel the exercise, start to feel the muscles working, rather than just doing something for a short amount of time and then changing setup positions. The next thing I'd like to talk about is what area of the body that you're working. So sometimes we can fatigue a certain muscle group, but if we keep moving and keep challenging that muscle group, it just means that our clients won't be able to actually get the most out of the movement. They'll be too fatigued. So an example of that, if we think about on the reformer, a front rowing series, or any series really where we're working the front of the shoulders, the chest, the arms quite a bit. And then maybe if we were to get into a planking series where we're loading up through the upper body, so 4-point kneels or planks and things like that, clients pretty quickly will fatigue through the shoulders and not get the most out of that movement. So it might be a matter of adding in a stretch before going into that next series, or it might just be a matter of programming slightly differently. So maybe doing the planking series followed by a upper back and arm opening series can actually feel really nice. On that same kind of topic, it's helpful to think about what you're moving or what shapes you're moving the spine into during your classes. So clients do spend a lot of time in day-to-day, like modern life, just being flexed through the spine, rounded. We all spend way too much time on our phones and sitting down. So I always love to incorporate some extension work, some opening work, just because I think majority of the population benefits from it. So that's another nice way just to make sure that the classes feel full body and your clients feel good, like they've moved their spine rather than just doing a lot of flexion when they're already like that. And then finally, I think it's a great idea to program bilateral exercises into your end of your class plan. I remember when I first started, there were lots of times where I would complete my full class plan and then I'd look down at my watch and realize that I had 10-15 minutes left. And it's just not as easy to think on your feet when you're first starting. So you'll definitely get there, but in the meantime, it's a good idea to think about little bubbles, little flows of exercises that are bilateral, meaning you're using both sides of the body equally. So you don't have to rush to try and do one side and then the other side. So an example of that on the reformer, it might be a mid-back series, laying down, arms in straps. It might be a back rowing series, both sides of the body work equally. Or an example of that on the mat might be a shoulder bridge series, or maybe any supine kind of core exercises, rather than, for example, a clam where you'd have to do one side and make sure that you timed it to fit the other side in. I hope that is helpful when it comes to your class planning and sequencing in the future. Happy teaching!